YouTubers! Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin's channel. Bank of Canada cuts key interest rates to 0.75. Woo! 16 minutes ago. Why? Well, they got to keep the housing market going. If you were in an economy that's based off exporting, and you're an economy based off producing and exporting and fabricating, it's okay. Because your dollar will weaken, your exports become more attractive, and you could raise interest rates a little bit here and there just to keep the market more attractive to investors, people to invest in a strong country. Well, we're going the opposite way. Because our GDP is so heavily propped on housing, we need to lower rates to keep this going. But here's the deal. I did a story on the channel here. Here it is, guys. It's a very important story, and it ties into what I'm saying here. Where's my housing? Right there. Vacant jobs in big cities. Now, that story ties into how no employers can get employees because they just can't find nobody that could afford to live in the big cities. It started happening 3 years ago in Dublin. Then it started happening in Vancouver. Then it started happening in Sydney, then Melbourne. And then Sydney and Melbourne had this huge transformation where everyone moved to Hobart and other parts of Australia where it was more affordable. And you started seeing it in New Zealand, and you started seeing it in Edinburgh, Scotland, where people that live in those cities, born and raised, can't afford to live in those cities anymore, even though they're educated there, understand the ways, and would be a great fit for a company. They can't get a job. I mean, they can't afford to live there to work. What does that tell you? Keep this going. Keep the Ponzi scheme going. So here it is. Ottawa, the Bank of Canada is cutting its overnight rate target by 0.5 percentage point to 0.75 in response to COVID-19. The central bank says the unscheduled rate decision is a proactive measure taken in light of the negative shocks of the economy due to the pandemic. Oh, so they're calling it a pandemic now. I thought this was a flu. Give people flyers at the airports. The Bank of Canada says lower oil prices, even since its last scheduled rate decision last week, will also weigh in on the economy. The central bank made a rate announcement as part of the package of measures announced by the federal government. The cut follows a decision last week by the Bank of Canada, cut its key interest rates by 0.5 percentage point. So remember last week they cut it? The central bank says it will provide full update of its outlook for Canadian and global economies on April 15. So we got to wait till April 15 to find out more on what's going on. So here's the deal. They need to keep this house. If it was a different economy, it was set to autopilots and wages were tied to housing instead of foreign money coming in, foreign investing and laundered money being tied to real estate, and it was wages, housing would be $200,000-300,000 for your typical 3-4 bedroom home. Easy. You know, easy peasy, easy as pie. Why? Because it's tied to wages. People, lower income earners would be living in condos and living in apartments and stuff, and that's how it was. You get into an apartment, build up, maybe get yourself a bungalow, and then start a family. That's the kind of pattern we've been following here in Canada and the United States. The United States is not that bad off. They have a lot of major cities. They can move pretty much anywhere and still get by. In Canada, with our 3 major cities, it's very, very tough for us to kind of manage how. And the funny part of this article, it actually targets, if you go to it, what do you think? Right here. Let's see if I wrote it down. Let's see if I wrote down in the, no, I didn't. It actually, here, Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia. Home of our 3 major biggest cities. Alberta, you forget, oil's is worth lower than toilet paper. Toilet paper is worth more money than oil right now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Keep cutting them rates. They're going to head to negative territory, and they're going to put a freeze on removal of cash from the machines. Let me know, comment below. Thanks for watching, guys.